Welcome everyone. We have discussed about the concept of forfeiture and the situation in which the forfeiture occur. And whenever there is a forfeiture of shares, make sure whether the share was issued at par or at premium or at discount. So for each of these situations, while passing the forfeiture entry, you have to be very cautious with regard to that. So next, let us go to discuss about some of the cases in which the forfeiture of shares occur. Next, let us discuss a case. Forfeiture of shares when there is oversubscription and pro rata allotment. While dealing with some of the cases under the same module, you may come across a question where forfeiture is there, but at the same time there will be oversubscription and pro rata allotment. We have learned about the concept of oversubscription and pro rata allotment and forfeiture of shares in the previous sessions, but in a question or in a case, combined case situations or combined adjustments of all these three we haven't discussed until now. So let us discuss a case when oversubscription occurs, and oversubscription will leads to pro rata allotment, and in the same case itself there is a situation of forfeiture of shares. So how we are going to deal the same case? So first of all, let us go through the practical question. ABC Limited issued 3 lakhs equity shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of 2 per share, payable as to rupees 3 on application, 5 on allotment, including premium, and the balance in 2 calls of equal amount. Applications were received for 4 lakh shares and allotment was made on a pro rata basis to all the applicants. The excess application money received was adjusted towards allotment. Usually in case of a pro rata allotment, excess amount anything received by the company will be adjusted in the subsequent installments. That is quite natural. And a shareholder named Sajan who was allotted 1600 shares failed to pay both the calls and the shares were forfeited after the second call. So he didn't pay the first call as well as second call. So ultimately there will be forfeiture of his shares, and you need to pass the necessary journal entries and balance sheet in the books of ABC Limited. So in this question, not only you have to deal with the journal entries, but at the same time you need to pass a balance sheet or prepare a balance sheet. And let us discuss or deal how such a situation has to be dealt with. And first of all, you need to identify the price of each of these installments. In this question, it is actually a premium case. So the price of one share is rupees 10 and there is a premium of rupees 2 per share. So the total value of the share will be 12. And the rate of application is given and allotment is given, and the balance in 2 equal amount in subsequent calls. So here application amount is 3 and allotment including premium is 5, and we know that total amount of share is 12. So how did you got 2 plus 2? And 3 belongs to application, 5 belongs to allotment, and in the question it is said that after 5 the balance will be in equal amounts for the subsequent calls. So 3 plus 5 it will be 8. We know that the total value of the share is 12. So the difference between 8 and 12 it will be 4, and you need to divide that 4 into situation, that is 2 rupees for first call and 2 rupees for second call, like that. That is how we have found the value or price of each of these installments. So it will be 3, 5, 2 and 2. It is shown in brackets that how I got 2. The difference amount is 4, and it is said that the balance is divided into 2 equal amounts. So a balance amount is 4 and it is divided into 2 equal amounts. Let us show the same in a detailed example. See, application was given rupees 3, allotment was also given rupees 5 including premium, so we know that 5 plus 3 is 8, and in the question it is mentioned that total value is 10, premium is 2, so it will be 10 plus 2, and 5 plus 3 is 8 and total is 12, so the remaining will be 4, and it has to be divided equally for first call and second call. So 4 is divided into 2 calls means 4 divided by 2, it will be 2. So first call it is rupees 2 and second and final call it will be rupees 2, and finally the total price of one share is rupees 12, that is 10 plus 2. So this is how you have to identify the price of any of the installments. Sometimes it may not be directly given, you have to identify it logically. So once you found out the value of each of these installments, that means per unit value, let us go to the preparation of journal entries, and it's almost the same entries which we have learned. The only thing is that you have to show all these situations. Until previous sessions we have discussed a case where there will be only oversubscription, or only there will be pro rata allotment, or only there will be forfeiture of shares. But in this question these three situations are there. So let us prepare the journal entries. I believe you know the format of a journal. Name of the concerned books of ABC Limited should be shown here. After that, journal, date, particulars, ledger folio, debit and credit. And let us begin with the date. Since there is no information regarding the time regarding the installments, let us leave the date column blank. First one, the bank entry has to be passed, bank account up to equity share application, and in the question it is said that the applications were received for 4 lakh shares. The company actually issued only 3 lakh shares. So the company received the application for 4 lakh means the price of one application is 3. Like that there are 4 applications. The total of 12 lakhs amount was received by the company. Application money received on 4 lakh shares. And next one is the due entry. Can we pass this 12 lakhs to the share capital account? No, we can't, because due entry has to be passed on the actual shares available by the concern. So the entry will be equity share application account 12 lakhs, to equity share capital 9 lakhs, to equity share allotment 3 lakhs. And I will explain why this is a multi-entry or a combined entry. Here the entry will be equity share application account up to equity share capital, and the amount will be 9 lakhs. 9 lakhs means actual shares held by the concern is 3 lakhs and the application value is 3. So 3 into 3 lakhs it will be 9. And remember, in this question it was mentioned that any excess amount received at the time of application is not at all refunded or returned. It will be adjusted in the subsequent call. Subsequent call means next call. Next call is allotment. So we have shown this allotment details also in this entry. Actually this is a combined entry, and in the previous cases we have learned about the same situation, and in that case we have splitted this entry into two, and we have discussed the same case with the both scenario, that is how we are going to deal the same situation in a combined entry or in two different entries. We have learned about that. You can either follow this one or the separate entry. It's all up to your discretion. So out of 10 lakhs, 9 lakhs belongs to the share capital or transferred to the share capital, because the company has only 3 lakh shares. So the company can issue only shares up to the applicants of 3 lakhs. So 3 lakh into 3, 9 lakhs. And what is the excess amount? Out of 12 lakhs, 9 lakh belongs to the actual amount of application. So the remaining is 3 lakh. And in the question it is mentioned that any excess money received has to be adjusted towards allotment. So excess amount is 3 lakhs and it will be adjusted in the share allotment account. and the entry will be application money on 3 lakh shares transferred to share capital account and the excess amount adjusted to share allotment account. So first section is over. Next one with regard to allotment. First one is the due entry, equity share allotment account up to equity share capital and security premium. Here also another combined entry, because in this question there is a premium of rupees 2 per share. So actual amount is 3 and plus 2 it will get 5. So total amount of allotment is 3 lakhs into 5, it will be 15 lakhs. Out of 15 lakhs, the actual amount of allotment is 3 lakh into 3 lakh, because 5 means 3 plus 2. So 3 lakh into 3 lakh, it will be 9 lakh, and premium amount is 1 premium worth is 2. 1 premium worth means premium of 1 share is rupees 2. So 3 lakhs into 2 lakhs, it will be 6. So out of 15 lakhs, 9 lakhs is the actual amount of allotment and 6 lakh is the premium with regard to that. And does the shareholders has to pay rupees 15 lakhs? No, because this was the actual amount that has to be paid by the company has to be received from the shareholders. But here a rupees 3 lakhs was received in advance at the time of application. So out of 15 lakhs, 3 lakh is already received by the company. So the company is intended to collect the remaining amount, that is rupees 12 lakhs. That is bank account up to equity share allotment 15 lakhs minus 3 lakhs, that is 12 lakhs. So remember, whenever you are dealing this type of scenarios, remember to adjust the excess amount at the time of that particular installment. Here the excess is adjusted with allotment. So at the time of receipt from the shareholders, you need to adjust this advance amount, and the remaining amount should be shown in the payment entry. Remember to do that wisely. So we have passed the entries with regard to allotment. Next one, equity share first call account up to equity share capital. Here the equity share first call is rupees 2, total number of shares is 3, and entry will be 6 lakhs. 3 lakh into 2, 6 lakhs. First call amount due on 3 lakh shares. So first we pass the due entry, after that payment entry. Before you directly jump on to payment entry, remember to read the question very wisely. This is a situation of for pro rata, oversubscription as well as forfeiture. When do the company follow forfeiture of shares? Whenever there is a default in payment. So make sure whether there is default, and it is found that Sargent, who hold 1600 shares, failed to pay both the calls and his shares were forfeited. So we will discuss about the forfeiture at that after the second call. So you need to consider the non-payment. So non-payment of any of the installment is known as calls and arrears. So calls and arrears is always adjusted in the bank entry. So the entry will be bank account up to calls and arrears account up to equity share first call, and total amount to be collected from the subscribers or the shareholders was 6 lakh, but one shareholder holding 1600 shares failed to pay the call money. So the entry will be bank account up to 5,96,800, and this is obtained by 2,98,400 into 2. Here 2 means value of first call. Value of first call is 2. We have already found at the beginning. And 2,98,400. 2,98,400 means 2,98,400 shares, for which the company will definitely receive the amount. Total number of shares held was 3 lakhs. But out of 3 lakhs, 1,600 is a failed installment from a subscriber. So 3 lakhs minus 1,600, you will get 29,840. So 5,96,800. And calls and arrears means 1600 shares were not paid or met by Sergeant, and first call was the installment which we are dealing. So total of 1600 into 2, it will be 3200. And our total of 6 lakh was to be collected by the company out of first call installment. But instead of, because of a calls in arrears, the company can collect only 5,96,800. So that is with regard to equity share first call. Next one, final call or second call. Entry will be equity share second and final call according to equity share capital. Same entry, since the per unit value and the number of shares is almost the same, your amounts will also be the same. And next one is a payment entry. In that case, you need to adjust the calls and arrears because the sergeant who hold 1600 shares failed to pay both the calls. Both the calls means first call and second call. Since the per unit value, number of shares and everything is almost the same, our entry and the amount with regard to equity share second and final call will be the similar to the equity share first and first call. So the entry will be bank account debtor, calls and arrears account debtor to equity share second and final call. Amount is almost same because here there is no difference between the value of first call and second call. In both cases it is rupees 2. And finally it is said that forfeiture of shares is to be taken place after the second call was made. So we have successfully passed the second call or second and final call. After that you need to pass the forfeiture entry. Forfeiture entry means cancellation of the number of shares for which the shareholder failed to pay. Remember, forfeiture of shares is done or passed on for those number of shares for which a shareholder failed to pay a particular call money or an installment. So total number of shares for which failure or the shareholder failed to pay was 1600. So value of one share is rupees 10. So the entry will be equity share capital 1600 into 10, it will be 16,000. And out of 16,000, the actual amount received by the company. Here the sergeant who was allotted 1600 shares failed to pay call monies. So he had successfully paid application and allotment. So what is the value of application? That is 3. There is no confusion. What is the value of allotment? Here the value written is 5, but you can take only rupees 3 because at the time of cancellation or forfeiture of shares, premium factor is taken into consideration if the company didn't receive the premium amount. In this question, the company already collected or availed the premium amount because default was made in the first call. Premium was already received by the company in the allotment situation. So you need not have to consider the premium amount here. So total amount collected by the concern will be 3 on application, 3 on allotment. So total it will be 6. So 1600 into 6, you will get 9600. And what was the call scenario? He didn't pay first call and second call. So 2 plus 2, it will be 4. How many shares were held by that particular person? 1600. So 1600 into 4, it will be 6400. So this is how you have to deal with a situation or a case study where an oversubscription is there that leads to a pro rata allotment, and at the same time there is a default in payment that ultimately resulted in forfeiture of shares. So I hope you have understood the concept with regard to these forfeiture of shares, and in the final entry just go through the amount which we have written here. First one is 16,000, that is 1600 into 10. Don't worry about the premium because in this situation premium is already collected. Whenever there is a premium, that the company didn't receive before the forfeiture, like that situation you need to consider the premium amount. Here the premium was already received by the concern and the default was made after receiving the premium, so you need not have to worry about the premium amount, just consider the value of share. So 1600 into 10, 16,000. Next one, what was the number of what was the price of the installments for which the share or particular shareholder successfully paid? He successfully paid application and allotment, so it will be 1600 into 6, that is 3 plus 3. Since the premium is ignored, you need not have to worry about 5. And finally, call scenarios: 1600 shares held by the person failed to pay first call, second call. So 1600 into 4. So that's how you have found, or you have written here, the respective amounts. And once you pass all the journal entries, go through the question and make sure whether you have done everything that was demanded by the question. In this case, you need to pass the necessary journal entries, and at the same time you need to prepare a balance sheet in the books of that particular person. So preparation of balance sheet, don't get confused. You may think that for preparation of balance sheet you need all the items of liabilities or all the items of assets, and you need to get a tally amount. That concept is right, but with regard to issue of shares or with regard to this particular module, in some situations you have to prepare a balance sheet, and the main purpose of preparation of balance sheet is the invigilator or the whoever is conducting the examination with regard to that is trying to make sure whether you know the position or the nature of each individual items. And the main purpose of balance sheet is whether you are posting the amount correctly or in the correct sides. So how you are going to prepare a balance sheet? Actually, the balance sheet, in some situation balance sheet gets tallied, but some situation balance sheet will not be tallied because all the items may not be there. And in this case, you have to prepare a balance sheet, and it will definitely be tallied. And let us see how the balance sheet is prepared. Format of a balance sheet is balance sheet of whatever the name of the company is given in the mentioned in the question, that has to be shown. Balance sheet of ABC Limited as on. If the date is given, specify the date. And we have learned about the balance sheet. It is actually in a form of a statement in a T-shaped form, where left side will be liabilities, right side will be assets. We all know that concept. And now we are learning the concept of issue of shares with regard to a company. And in a company form of business, or a company who is following the practice of preparation of accounts as per the Companies Act, every company has to prepare a balance sheet in vertical format. Vertical format will be, you will write down all the items from top to bottom, and we will begin with liability side, and the format will be particulars, note number and amount. Note number means some of the items may have some additional information. It will be shown as a separate note by the end of the statement, and the number of that particular note will be mentioned here. And usually note number may be mentioning the number within which the working note was made, if whether the second working note belongs to that particular item or a third working note belongs to that particular item, like that, in order to identify which working note belongs to that particular item in the balance sheet. For those purposes, note number column will be used. And we will begin with equities and liabilities. Remember the pattern or a format of a company's balance sheet. We will begin with equities and liabilities. First one, shareholders fund. Shareholders fund is a common name given to the funds of the owner. Funds of the owner means share capital, profits, reserves and surplus, like that. And shareholders funds includes share capital, reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus, we have learned about that. Reserves and surplus, the premium, anything collected by the company in the form of premium or a security premium will be shown as a item under reserves and surplus. So, what is the amount of share capital? And from the journal entry, you can easily identify the total amount of share capital. So, let us find out what is the amount of share capital for the financial year. We will begin with share capital. First one, authorized capital. In this question, there is no other information regarding authorized capital, so let it be like that. Authorized capital, equity share of rupees 10 each. Next one, issued capital. This is the order, so remember the order. First one, authorized, after then issued. We have learned about this order in the theoretical part at the beginning of this module. Issued capital is actual shares issued by the concern is 3 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each. So it will be 3 lakh equity shares of 10 each, 30 lakhs. And subscribed capital is subscribed and fully paid is 2,98,400 equity shares of rupees 10 each. Here the actual shares subscribed and for which the paid or payment was received. Out of 3 lakhs, 2,98,400 was the received situation. That is 2,000 equity shares of 2,98,400 shares were dealt by the company for which the company has received the payment. And why there is a difference between 3 lakh and 2,98,400? Because a shareholder failed to pay 1,600 worth of shares. So 2,09,000 out of 3 lakh, 2,98,400 is the actual amount received by the company. So that is why it is written subscribed and fully paid. 2,98,400 into 10, it is 29,84,000. And next one, you need to add forfeiture account. We have learned this area during the theoretical discussion of forfeiture of shares. Whenever there is a forfeiture of shares, the amount with regard to forfeiture account will be added with the subscribed and fully paid up capital, or we can simply say it will be added along with the capital, and amount is 9,600. So total is 29,93,600. Next one, you need to show the amount in the subsequent column. So total share capital amount is 29,93,600, and one represents the working note, first working note. Next one, what is the amount of reserves and surplus? Since there is no further adjustment with regard to reserves and surplus, particularly the securities premium, you can directly write down reserves and surplus is security premium reserve 6 lakhs. So we can show directly the amount in here also, because there are no further adjustments. So total of share capital will be 35,93,600. So in the beginning of preparation of balance sheet, I have mentioned that we can prepare a balance sheet whereby which you will get a tally amount. So how did I identify that I get a tally amount? Total amount of share capital is 35,93,600. That is the actual amount with regard to shares issued to the public. So this much amount was collected by the public, by the concern from public. So whenever there is an issue of shares, company will receive payment from the subscribers and our share capital is increased. So whenever there is an increase in share capital, how did that increase happen? That increase happened by way of amount received from the public. So amount received from the public means that is known as cash. So whenever there is an increase in share capital, there is a silent meaning, that is there will be increase in the cash balance of the company. So here this much amount was collected by the company, so definitely there will be a cash balance in the concern, that is 35,93,600. Just add all the bank amounts, you will get 35,93,600. So let us show the same in the balance sheet also. So in the asset side, remember, see liability side is over since there is no other items. Once you write down all the items under the liability, you have to go for the second part, that is assets. This is how you have to prepare the balance sheet of a company form of business. In the asset side, there are no other items, so there is only one item, cash at bank, and that comes under the current assets. So you have to show that heads correctly. Under current assets, cash and cash equivalents, that is 35,93,600. So this is how you have to prepare a balance sheet of a company form of business. It will be a vertical balance sheet. And we will begin with liabilities, and there will be separate heads for each item. You can't simply write down all the items that belongs to liability. Every item has a head, and you need to show that item under each of the relevant heads. So this is how you have to deal with the balance sheet situation. So in this case, we have almost touched the different cases which we have discussed until previous sessions. This is how you have to deal with a comprehensive type question. I hope you have understand the concept of the case which we have discussed today. So just go through it. If you have any queries, please do let me know. We will discuss about the further theoretical aspects as well as the practical cases with adjustments in the coming sessions.